Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Puck and Drublick, and I'm here to talk about the Anaheim Ducks 2015-2016 season preview. So, yeah, I was going to do this yesterday, but I don't remember what happened. I think I fell asleep like right after school. Yeah, I have bad sleeping. So that's not about hockey though. So it is the time of the year, my favorite time of the year, fall and hockey. So they go hand in hand pretty much. Good weather, not here in California. What sucks right now is it'll be like cold in the morning and then it'll be hot in the evening. So look at me, I'm wearing a flannel right now. That's how it is, and it's actually pretty hot, but I'm too lazy. So anyway, let's get into hockey. What really matters. So how the end of their season, the Ducks, how their season ended last. I'm saying season too much. So how the Ducks went out pretty much last year was pretty depressing. They went Game 7, one game away of going to the Cup final, and they lose to the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 7, and did not end well. I was depressed. My family was depressed. Some of my friends, even though out in California there are a lot of Chicago Blackhawks fans. Not all of them are as loyal as some people think, but I don't know. But I'm not going to get into that. So yeah, Chicago Blackhawks, 2015 Stanley Cup champs, and yeah, they're the best team in the league. So that's how it is. But how the Ducks are looking this year. Well, let's start with the lineup. So over the offseason, they brought in Kevin Bieksa, a new defenseman, to replace Francois Beauchemin. Carl Hagelin, they threw in there to get some speed. They traded him for Emerson Edom, I think some draft picks. No, I think it was just straight for Emerson Edom. But they traded Palmieri for the New Jerseys for draft picks, but that doesn't really matter. But it's sad to see some of those guys go. But we also brought in Sean Horkoff to fill in for Nate Thompson while he's injured. Nate Thompson won't be around, I think, till December. And we brought Mike Santorelli from Nashville. He was in Toronto, then he went to Nashville, I believe. And did I say Chris Stewart? Because that's who was supposed to fill in for Bolesky. And of course, Anton Kudabin, however you say it, who I thought did pretty well against the Kings and the Sharks and the Avalanche. Actually, I didn't watch the Sharks game. That wasn't televised, but he was doing good on the most part. So even though it was preseason, if he can bring that every night, that'd be great because he's pretty good. I had a friend tell me he wasn't that good, but he did just fine with us. So yeah. So let's jump ahead a bit. We won't meet the Kings till January 17th. That's a big rivalry game. Yeah, so it's going to be a while, but teams are going to be more adjusted for the playoffs. But let's go back actually a bit to their lineups now. We don't really know. Bruce Boudreau changes lineups all the time. Now, of course, we have Getzov and Perry. They're probably going to keep Maroon up there for a while. We don't know if Stewart's going to go up there or Hagelin. They have all these guys now for left wing, but it's like, who are they going to use? Because Hagelin might just be... People are saying, Hagelin will be with Silverberg and Kessler, which I want. But they might throw Stewart in there because that's where Bolesky was, kind of. So it's like... they're moving around a little bit. So, Bolesky had a lot of time with Kessler and Silverberg, and now it's like... So, is Stewart going to go? Or is it be Hagelin? I'd like to see Hagelin, but, Stewart might do well. We'll have to wait and see. Whatever's better for the team, I don't care as long as we can make it back to the playoffs, which I think we will. And hopefully make it to the final. Now let's skip up a bit because it's only a season preview, so we don't have much to work with. They did really good in the preseason, but it doesn't mean much. Now, if you look at how we played the past few years in the playoffs, it hasn't really worked out. It's gotten better and better. If you look at 2012, we didn't go at all. 2013, we get eliminated in the first round of the Detroit Red Wings at home in Game 7. 1 year later, we lose. This is probably the most devastating for me and most Ducks fans. We lose to the LA Kings at Game 7 at home in the second round. And then you go to this year. We played a lot better going against, the Jets and the Flames. And Flames got a good team. They're going to be better next year. But anyway, you got to think because all the teams coming up in the Western Conference, I'll get into that later, actually. But let's get a bit back. So this year, of course, we lose Chicago Blackhawks Game 7, one game away from going to the Stanley Cup final. And it stung. This one hurt a lot. I used to like the Blackhawks because they're one of the teams that, if you watched the last video we made, that was weird. I liked them as a kid. They weren't that good, and then they started getting good. I'm not doing it to be hipster or any of that, like, they're good now, I'm going to stop liking them. I still like them. I liked it when they played LA last year, or 2 years ago, however you want to look at it. That's for sure. But now that they've kind of just seeing how they played against the Ducks, I'm still a bit angry, but you know, it's whatever. So hopefully we can get back this year. Now, Dan Rosen predicts that the Minnesota Wild will beat us in Game 7 again this year. Or not again, but we'll lose in Game 7 in the Western Conference Final. I hope we don't, and I don't think we would lose to the Wild. Because if you look at teams like Chicago and LA, if we can get past them, we can definitely get past the Wild. So that's the thing. They say, I hear a lot of people say we'll beat LA. I hope they do. We do. If there's Kings fans watching, hey, I'm not hating. I'm not a disrespectful hockey fan. You have a great team. Look how many cups you won in the past few years. I don't like your team, though, but you don't like my team either. So, but going back, if Wild can barely play Chicago, how'd they play us, pretty much? Because there were times we could have had Chicago beaten at times. Game 2, if Vatanen never hit those posts, it could have maybe ended in 5. It could have still went to 7. Who knows? It would have been a bit different, and maybe the Ducks could have came out on top that way. But so hopefully we can make it. Now, if it's a trend and it's true what's happened with the Ducks, like there's been a lot of teams that happen like this: the Islanders, the Oilers, the Red Wings, when they got closer and closer every year, and then eventually they just started winning. All of a sudden, they won the cup, and they showed they are one of the best teams in the league, and you know they had their dynasties, and hopefully the Ducks can have that because we have a young roster. Especially look at our defense: Cam Fowler, Hampus Lindholm, Sammy Vatanen. All very young guys, and it's pretty good because those young guys are so like young, and then look how far they're getting. But they can't take that for granted, like Corey Perry said. Because I mean, look how he started. First year, I think they made it to the conference final. Lost to Edmonton 1 year later. They won the cup, and look how it was. So yeah. You gotta do it. The window's closing for guys like Kessler, Bieksa, Perry, Getzlaf, of course. And yeah, but we also have young goaltending with Anderson and Gibson, which is great. And hopefully do a good job this year because Anderson, he did a lot better than Hiller, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, I really hope the Ducks can break through and win the Cup this year. I hope we get a rematch with LA and Chicago, but this time, because the Ducks, if you hear how the interviews are going, they seem determined. All the guys at camera said this is one of the most determined teams I've ever been on. But what really matters is if you can take that attitude pretty much and bring it to the ice. So we're going to have to wait and see, guys. Thanks. Go Ducks, go. Leave your team down below. For me, it doesn't start till Saturday. We play the Sharks at the SAP Center, so hopefully get the first win. But I'll be watching the Maple Leafs Canadiens game tomorrow. Next day I'll be watching the Flyers Lightning. Next day I'll be watching probably the Maple Leafs Red Wings. Oh, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, and then I'll be watching a bunch of hockey Saturday. So, yeah, once again, go Ducks, go. Like, subscribe. What's your team down below? I'm not just be talking Ducks on here. This is a single video. I usually make videos with my friend Gordon, but, you know, this is one of the things I did. And maybe he'll do one for the Sabres because that's his team and Ducks are my team. So, yeah, we'll hopefully be uploading this weekend. And, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.